States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move on into our consensus report.
So I move we approve the vouchers that were paid in the last month and the payrolls. Vouchers were a total of $895,085.85. Two payrolls were $427,996.36. Gives us the total expenditures for the month of $1,323,082.21. And then along with that, I move we approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. Seeing that there is no one in the general public here, we will move on to personnel.
All right, so I'll try to lump these as best as possible. So we're going to go ahead and start with the recommendation for the resignations that took place, most of which were kind of, well, since our last meeting, obviously, but close to right before school. So we have the resignation of Kaylee Albert as fifth grade teacher, Joe Wood as junior high football coach, Holly Sellers as fifth grade girls basketball. And just today I received Ashley Faulkner from sixth grade basketball. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in there today. And then Lisa Hammond from seventh grade girls volleyball.
Second.
I heard Steve first.
That's
It's
fine.
been moved by Ken, seconded by Steve. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And just for everybody's, some of those are just moving grade levels, but they have to obviously resign the grade level that they were already at. So those are yet to come. Next, I'd like to recommend the approval of the following hires. So Brenna Cook is corporation nurse. Amanda Bailey is first grade teacher. Lisa Hammond is fifth grade teacher. Kimberly Riddle as sixth grade teacher. Megan Atkins as high school language arts. Shelby Kleinholtz as a long-term substitute for Jody Vermillion. And Sarah Heinlein as elementary instructional assistant.
Second.
Been moved by Kevin, seconded by Wes. Any discussion?
I think it's Heinlein, that's all that matters.
Okay.
I think. She was, I had her in math years ago. I think so.
All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Is that right, Mrs. Cook?
That is correct.
Okay.
So I apologize to Miss Sarah. All right. I would recommend the following substitute teachers. Once again, we added one. I had a conversation with Emma Hepler today, so I'd recommend hiring her as a substitute, Jamie Baker and Courtney King.
I move we approve those.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
All right, the next group deals with volleyball coaching. So I recommend the approval of Katie Sellers as sixth grade volleyball coach. Wendy Ickes is the seventh grade volleyball coach. Molly McFarland is the seventh grade volleyball volunteer coach. And Emma Hepler as the high school and sixth grade volleyball volunteer coach. Last but not least, Abby Veers as high school volleyball volunteer coach.
So moved. Second.
I heard Steve.
I heard him too.
It's been moved by Kevin, seconded by Steve. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
If you remember, 2 years ago, we put in our collective bargaining agreement supervisors for athletic events to give assistance to our athletic director if happen to be at multiple events, just making sure we have go-to people at those events. So this is what these individuals are as follows. So I recommend the approval of Megan Hammond as the volleyball supervisor, Adam Heckman as the junior high cross-country supervisor, Lisa Beamish as the high school cross-country supervisor, Jason Groves as the varsity football supervisor, Rachel Watkins as the fall weight room supervisor. Sorry.
So moved.
In that well. That's all.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Wes. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Last but not least, in personnel, long-term substitute rate, we are asking the board to approve $150 a day for the first day, from the first day of an employee's leave. We already have in our collective bargaining agreement that if a teacher is a licensed teacher, the first, after they have subbed for 15 days consecutively, they get their daily rate, right? This year, we actually have an individual who is not licensed who is going to do that, understanding that they make a commitment to us for 12 weeks. We feel like we need to make that probably a little bit higher than the typical daily sub rate, right? So we're just simply kind of in this situation and hopefully set precedent for anybody else that we would hire in this situation. I would make the recommendation that we make a long-term substitute rate at $150 a day for the first day of an employee leave.
I move we approve that.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion?
We're defining long-term then as,
Anything longer than 6 weeks. So, is that fair? This happens to be 12. I mean, usually, sometimes it's, maternity leave is
Yeah.
typically 8 weeks to 12 weeks.
Set a duration, my thought behind it was that if the substitute is going in there and preparing the lesson plans and, being really the teacher of record there, instead of just coming in and filling in a day or two for some plans that were already prepared, we need to compensate them for it. I guess we can come up with a definition of long-term.
Sure.
either that or you have to negotiate it each time, and I don't think that's what we want.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, I mean,
We will come back with
we'll
a
set some parameters.
term definition, that's good, that's, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we really made it for this individual.
Which is fine, I agree with the concept, I just think we need to,
Define that.
Define it.
Somebody's out a week, did they qualify?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
fair,
about 2 weeks?
that's fair.
There's gotta be a line somewhere. I agree.
We'll bring that one back.
Okay.
And I don't care if it's a specified amount of time or something else,
Sure.
but just something that we can go by.
So if we could, let's go ahead, I would recommend the rate today, and then I'll clarify the time, just because obviously she's starting, right? So, and it is for a 12-week leave, so that obviously fits that.
So with that substitution, Steve, you okay with that motion?
Yes.
Okay. Ken?
Yep.
Same as well? Okay. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. And we will hear next time on the actual verbiage.
Sounds good. Good question. All right, I recommend the approval to update the high school student handbook on the random drug screens. After conversation with Mr. Eunice and Mr. McCann, and those conversations, as we looked at the band handbook, we looked at the student handbook, we looked at the athletic handbook, we just wanted to make sure that those were consistent. And so we just made that language consistent across the board. If you remember, we did add extracurriculars to that random drug test, and also drivers to that random drug test. So in the process of that switching, some of them just didn't have the same language. Do you want to add anything to that, Mr. McCann? So there's no real new additions, just consistency across those 3 handbooks.
It's just verbiage, right?
It's verbiage, written verbiage in each of the books, so now I know.
The language
It's
is
really just the student handbook is the biggest update, so, yeah.
I move that we approve that change. Or correction, or whatever you want to call it.
Moved by Steve, second by Kevin. Any other discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
And last in business, I just ask your permission, or make the recommendation for permission to advertise CPF and bus replacement on the website.
So move.
Second.
Been moved by Steve, seconded by Ken. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Just so you, in there is kind of the CPF plan summary. summer will not be near the amount of projects that we had going this summer. As far as bus replacement goes, typically we replace 2 buses a year. 2024 is only one scheduled. Currently I had $125,000 to replace that bus. Laura got a quote, the base bus is 122, so it'll probably be more than that, which 3 years ago we were getting them for 80, so the buses have been-
Oh.
Start buying them used.
Well, yeah, one corporation in the paper this last week said they are. All right, moving on to superintendent report.
All right, continuous improvement, safety updates are nearing completion. The auditorium lights, sound, and AV are complete. So as of about 3 o'clock on Sunday, Sweetwater finished up the middle screen that we were still waiting on, and looks absolutely great. This weekend was a success with the lights and the sound. It's obviously very noticeable that that's updated, and it should be. But yeah, that's finishing up. We do have a couple other things that need to be done. The curtains, we are talking to a carpet company about putting strip lighting down the aisles, so if it's totally dark in the auditorium, that they can kind of see where they're headed. So that's a couple things that are just outside of the project scope with Indiana Stage and Sweetwater. The band tower is up. So that looks really, really nice. Elementary cafeteria floor is complete. Painting in the cafeteria and or in the locker rooms I believe is, I don't know if that's totally done. So that has not been completed yet, but that is to be done in the locker rooms. And many of the office furniture, desk, weight room items will be finishing up during fall break. So that's all scheduled during that time. A lot of that's custom. Some of it's not. I reached out to the vendor today to kind of see where we were at on those items. So a lot of backlogs, which is pretty frustrating, but it is what it is, and it's not affecting instruction. So shared leadership, it takes everyone to be prepared for students on day one. I'm thankful for a great team that works hard to bring all of the moving pieces together, so when our students step onto campus, they're able to jump right back into efficiently reviewing expectations for the new year and begin learning the content within their classes. For the most part, transportation went really, really well. Once again, you just have first day getting kids to buses and those type of things, but went really well. Barry Baker's crew and the maintenance staff has just been outstanding all summer. And so technology, always making updates and doling out new Chromebooks and all of that stuff. So a lot of people working really, really hard. Well, I feel like we hired some really, really great people. So kudos to Nate and Christine on that. So it's just been a really successful start to the new school year. Social responsibility, I want to thank the town of Bourbon on their partnership with the Crossing Guards and Triton's SRO. So that continues. This weekend's Bourbon Summerfest was held on the grounds of Triton School Corporation, was a great success. People had a great time. Vendors and Triton students were able to make proceeds to go to great causes, and the car show saw nearly 200 cars in attendance, is what? 210? Excuse me, a special thanks to Lonnie Berkey for his time and effort, as well as the Triton custodial staff who take shifts to maintain a clean working environment for all who attend. So appreciate all involved there.
Lonnie wanted to share that he really appreciates the partnership that
Yeah.
exists between the town and the school and that,
I
so.
believe this is year 5, if I'm not mistaken, and it was about as smooth as it's been. So working out some of the kinks,
Yeah,
and
we learn a little bit every year.
feel like there was a lot of confidence in each other to get the job done, and I feel like it went really well. Accountability, Triton achieved the highest biology scores in the area. So I just want to give kudos to Mr. Bass for his hard work and the foundation that so many teachers play a role in to help our students achieve this honor. Triton continues to remain competitive with schools in our area and will continue to work in areas that need improved, and I am confident that we have a plan to continue to improve this year. high expectations. I want to congratulate to so many of our students who were involved in 4-H this summer, who were able to share many of those accomplishments as they poured into our social media feeds. This time and effort and commitment will continue to help these young people build their work ethic that will only pay dividends in the future endeavors. Our fall athletes have been working hard. The band has been preparing since July. Football, volleyball, cross country, girls golf, boys tennis, cheerleading all have either started or will start their competitions this week. Thank you to our coaches for their time, effort, and investment in our student athletes. I'm hoping I didn't miss a sport there. Some of them are off campus. I didn't get a picture of the girls golf. We're still gonna post that. They were pretty frustrated that I didn't post about girls golf. Out of sight, out of mind at the golf course, but excited about having a girls golf team this year. Alignment, teachers were treated to an outstanding professional development on August 7th. Matt Borst and Anthony Troyer from Village to Village International. They're also TBRI coordinators, where we learned more about trauma-informed classrooms, some of the things we as individuals deal with and how that affects our reactions and problem solving, and of course how our students react to those things. Over 40 staff members have signed up for the follow-up 10 meetings in order to continue to improve. So we're excited about that. Excited for them to continue to invest in our staff. Evidence-based decision-making, a couple staffing adjustments just based on licenses, new staff coming in have been made based on strengths of personnel and needs for our students. Our administrators did a great job filling late-term vacancies, and I've been very impressed with our new staff and the expertise they will bring to an already strong group of professionals. So, super excited about that. One update, I do have our attendance as of right now is 955. So we actually have 966 students on campus. Our preschoolers do not count in the number. So we subtract from that 966 those 20 preschoolers. We have 9 students at Argus, and that total is 955 students. A little down from what I had hoped when we had our board retreat, hoping that that would be closer to 965 or 970, but that's where we're at, and super excited about just, I guess, those classrooms being pretty much where we want them, so we don't feel like any are overextended or that we have to make any late changes to that. So that's an update there. I'll go ahead and while I'm talking here, litigation. We were contacted last school year about Juul litigation, so vaping and those type of things, and just how those companies were really targeting our youth, which we have obviously seen. We know it's an epidemic among our youth, and we've tried to take steps to ward against that with some of the detectors and just monitoring that and kind of helping our kids through some of those temptations. They're doing a very similar litigation for Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube. That has just recently, I just spoke to the gentleman today, so I simply wanted to make you aware of it. We have not made any decisions yet, but in the end, this stuff affects our kids more than probably we will ever know for years to come. So some of the things that they're citing in that litigation is lack of parental controls, just constant notifications to our kids, targeted algorithms to make them continue to want to watch more and or see things that they really shouldn't see. It's designed to addict our teens and adolescent users. These companies engage in deceptive practices by designating and promoting their product to children. And we have dealt with on many, many occasions situations where kids feel trapped. They don't necessarily know who to talk to in their exploration of the device that's in their back pocket. And that's pretty sad, but I would just continue, as we have before, to warn our parents to say, please monitor what your kids are looking at. And I truly feel like there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes there that are attacking our kids' minds. So likely, as we continue to learn more information, likely we will engage in that litigation along with a lot of other schools in our area, and that is per our attorney's guidance. So more to come on that. I have sent a brief in your emails with that information, a little bit more detailed, legalese, a lot of it, but a little bit more detailed information. Mr. Miller?
So what is the goal of the lawsuit?
I guess really bring to light to those companies that we're not very happy that they're targeting our kids. But I would also say probably bring a little bit of attention to our parents to say, like, these are some of the things that continue to, get our kids to want to look at those things. And to be honest, the suit will then give the school and arm the school with some money to possibly, whether that's, I'm not saying it's add more staff, but in the end, like, all the time and effort that's being put into dealing with these things, do we need more counselors or that type of service to say we're going to continue to try to help them through that? Because it lands on our doorstep. 90% of that stuff probably isn't done on campus. It's done before it comes to campus. But in the end, the effects of that is what is trying to compensate. So is it going to stop any of the behaviors? Maybe not. It's going to draw probably some unfavorable attention to what they're trying to accomplish. So. Glad to take any questions. Yeah.
So, the 955 number,
Mm-hmm.
is there someplace where we're down that we didn't expect to be down?
So I would say the 15 that I was hoping, I believe I put in there 970 or 975. I was really hoping that kindergarten class was going to be approximately 75, and they are 66.
Okay.
So, 64. So really, that's the one, like, we're losing a small class. We're hoping to gain that class of 75 kids and say we're up 15 immediately just because of the seniors we lost and the kindergartners we got. But in the end, we know that there's the ebbs and flows of an average class size of 70. So maybe that was a little bit wishful thinking. But we had 50, I want to say, at registration, 55. So typically, we would put money on 10 to 15 other kids that were out there that didn't come to kindergarten roundup. So based off that information, that's really, where that came from. Our junior high right now, 7th and 8th grade, and Mr. McCann's kind of feeling that pinch a little bit, is 81, both of those classes. So you have 2 back-to-back classes in the 7th and 8th grade right now, and scheduling classes and all that, that's 2 big classes. Sophomore class, I believe, is 81. So we have several of those classes that are in the 80s, which is more than typical, but we have that typical 65, 66 class in there as well.
And we have a second grade class that's got 80.
That's big, right?
Big grade.
Yeah.
And third grade is, they're 75.
Yeah. So we were hoping that kindergarten class would come in the same and increase that, but it didn't. So we'll continue to work on that.
Who wants to go first, or did he take everybody's thunder?
I don't have a lot now, but that's okay.
I'm just gonna repeat. All right, first of all, just backing up again, I felt like registration really went well, and I just want to say, I know that was in July, and maybe it seems like a long time ago, but, we have debated earlier some years ago about whether when we went to online and you could do online registration, but we didn't get all of our people, and we still kind of did, some in-person. And when we went to all in-person, that was a big, deal. Do we do that, or do we allow people to just do it? I got to tell you, I think that parents really appreciate it. For the most part, every parent who came in, we had about 90% of our families, or of our students that were represented in person. And I just think there were so many things that we could do, that we could figure out, that we could problem solve before the first day of school when we saw parents in person. And I think they like that face-to-face contact. We were able to give away a lot of school supplies free, that have been donated, and that's the whole purpose of having those things. So I just really think I appreciate the people who worked with us that day, those 2 long days to do that, and I just think that parents do appreciate it. And I think we have a better idea of who's coming too on that first day, and we can prepare better. So even with a little over 90% of our people, Angie still, our secretaries track down others so that we could say, hey, some people were on vacation, but, are you coming? Yes, you're coming. No, you're not. And so we could figure those things out before school actually started. So we had a really good idea of who was going to show up and who was not. I think there was only one person in the wind that we said we hadn't been able to get in contact with, and they called the very first day of school. So I was happy about that. Like Mr. Riffle said, maintenance and tech crews have really worked hard all summer. They continue with projects in various stages of completion, but that just gives us some more things to look forward to. Our new chairs and desks that were supposed to come got stalled a little bit in late July on the end with a factory issue that they had, and then they weren't going to come in until August 15th, and we said, hold it. That's not really good. If it doesn't come before school starts, it's a little complicated. So I think we should be able to see those on fall break. I'm looking forward to that. Open house was very well attended, I felt like, and the cafeteria for the first time served some menu samples, and we were able to show off the new cafeteria floor and walls, which I think really looks great. And every student appreciates it and notices the difference when they come in, so I think that's awesome too. We are enjoying getting to know our new staff members and excited about what they're going to contribute this year to the team and to our students and their families. We also, with our schedule, added extra time to kindergarten and grade 1 lunches, and so far that's gone really well, giving them extra time to walk down to the serving line, to get served, to carry their tray to their table, to open up all the packages that they have to eat, and then just time to eat and socialize a little bit. So far that's gone really well. I think that that's something that we've needed to do for a while. So I'm happy about how it's gone so far. I feel like we had a really successful first 3 days. Our professional development that we had on Monday, one of the things that they really stressed was, even though students are safe here at school, they don't necessarily feel safe. Some of them don't necessarily feel safe yet. And I feel like that is never more true than the first few days of school, when we have to just nurture and nudge. And you've got still some younger students who aren't really sure this is where they want to be, and they're away from parents, everything that they know. And some of them we have to just, console, calm their fears, dry tears, and nudge people. Some of our newer students, this is new to them. Everybody's new. I can't imagine being in a place where everybody's new all at the same time. And so I appreciate our teachers who listen to that message and are being, really welcoming students, but also understanding a little bit more where these students might be coming from and why they might be reluctant to start out school. Cross country has started last week. 6th grade volleyball started today with Katie Sellers as a coach, and student council are taking applications. That's going to be new, formally called ACES, and we're just going to refer to it as student council now. And that's being led by Lana Hostrauser and Lisa Hammond, so I'm happy about that. We also started NWA fall testing, and M-Class Math also started today, so we can get a baseline for our kids and see where they are so that we can better drive our instruction for the rest of the year. That's about it, unless there are any questions.
All right, for the junior, senior high school, Christine talked about registration, so I'll just mention how that went over at the high school. So this year we had it in the library for some obvious reasons, and I think that ended up being a good thing. It just had a good flow to it. There was more space. Things just went well. So I have a feeling that we will just continue to have that in the library even after the office is completed. So that was something that was a good discovery there. So we too had great turnout for our registration, I think better than in the past. So appreciate the parents that came out and got their kids registered early. First few days of school have been a success. Things just seem like they're flowing really well, which is great. On Friday and today we had grade level meetings, so we try and meet with every grade level, and we just talk about expectations. What are the rules? We talk about pride. And we just want them to know that what we expect from day to day and try and answer the questions that they have, and feel like those meetings went really well. As Christine was saying, we started NWEA testing as well as SRI testing. So again, looking to see what the baseline is for our kids. Let's see, we had a 7th grade orientation back in late July, as well as, or I guess it would have been early August is when we had it, as well as an internship and a CTE meeting for parents. So for those groups, just 7th grade, just giving them a chance to come over, see the building, get to meet some of their teachers, walk their schedule, get rid of some of those butterflies they had in their stomach. And for the internships and CTE, we've just learned over the last few years that we just need to sit down with parents and go over the expectations, make sure everybody's on the same page, and overall I think that was a success as well. This year we did a little bit more at the junior senior high school with new teacher orientation. That's really not something that we've done a lot with aside from our corporation meeting, but we put together a program for our new teachers and spent some extra time with them at the building level and just tried to answer a lot of the questions that we anticipate they may have coming in as a new teacher. Rick spent a lot of time preparing that, so I appreciate his leadership on that. Fall sports in full swing. Today we actually had some of our athletic pictures. Marching band, they've been busy for weeks, and I will say that I think they really appreciate the new band tower that's up. That looks great. Auditorium, I know Mr. Riffle talked about this. We've had the opportunity to use it a few different times, and just some great additions to that space. I really look forward to just some of the, whether it's band, choir concerts, drama, productions in there. I think it's going to be great. So look forward to that. We are back in the main office. It's functional, and we're going to have a positive attitude, even though we know it's not complete. We've just agreed we're going to have a positive attitude, and we'll be excited when October comes and we have a complete office, but we're doing well. We'll give you an update on our alternative school. That's basically a program we started up, partnered with Argus last year, and that was located in Argus. We had an opportunity to bring that program to Bourbon, and it's actually housed at the Church of Heartland storefront here in town, which is a great location, I feel like, for this program. Between Triton and Argus, we have approximately 15 kids. We have one teacher and an aide over there to help out, and I just think we've seen some pretty neat things come from that program and look forward to seeing what happens this year. So, any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
We will move to adjourn at 7:33.